Devaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naranjaiva Narottamam
Naram Jaiva Narottamam
Devin Saraswatin Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye
Tato Jayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavade Uttamasloke
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke
Bhaktin Bhavadir Naistiti
Bhakti Bhavati Naistiti
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devagi Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees for the morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Today we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, text number 31. The canto name is The Cosmic Manifestation and the chapter name is The Lord in the Heart. So please repeat the sloga behind me. tenātmanātmānam upaiti śāntam.
Atmanātmānam upaiti śāntam.
ānandam ānandamayo vasāne.
Ānandam ānandamayo vasāne.
etāṁ gatiṁ bhāgavatīṁ gatayah.
Etāṁ gatiṁ bhāgavatīṁ gatayah.
savai punar neha viṣajjate anga.
Savai punar neha viṣajjate anga.
Word by word meaning, please repeat begin me. Tena, by that purified.
By the purified.
Atmana,
Atmanam,
by the self.
by the self.
Atmanam,
Atmanam,
the super soul.
the super soul.
Upaiti,
Upaiti,
attains.
attains.
śāntam,
Śāntam,
rest.
rest.
ānandam,
Ānandam,
satisfaction.
satisfaction.
ānandamayo,
ānandamayo,
naturally so being.
naturally so being.
vasāne,
Vasāne,
being freed from
being freed from.
all material contamination.
Being freed from all material contaminations.
etāṁ,
Etāṁ,
such.
such.
gatiṁ,
Gatim,
destination.
destination.
bhāgavatam,
Bhāgavatīṁ,
devotional.
devotion.
gataha,
Gataha,
attained by.
attained by.
yaha,
Yaha,
the person.
the person.
saha,
Saha,
he.
he.
why,
By,
certainly.
certainly.
punaha,
Punaha,
again.
again.
na,
Na,
never.
never.
iha,
Iha,
in this material world.
in this material world.
viṣajjate,
Viṣajjate,
becomes attracted.
becomes attracted.
anga,
Anga,
O Maharaja Parikshit.
O Maharaja Parikshit.
Translation and Purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana of the Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Purport.
Jai Shri.
Translation, please repeat behind me. Only the purified soul
Only the purified soul
can attain the perfection of associating
perfection of associating
with the personality of Godhead
with the personality of Godhead
in complete bliss
in complete bliss
and satisfaction
and satisfaction
in his constitutional state.
in this conscious state.
Whoever is able to renovate
Whoever is able to renovate
such devotional perfection
Self-devotional perfection
is never again
is never again
attracted by this
attracted by this
material world,
material world,
and he never returns.
and he never returns.
Purport. We should specially note in this verse the description of gatim bhāgavatīm. To become merged in the rays of the Parabrahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as desired by the brahmavādī impersonalist, is not bhāgavatīm perfection. The Bhagavatas never accept merging in the impersonal rays of the Lord, but always aspire after personal association with the Supreme Lord in one of the Vaikuṇṭha spiritual planet in the spiritual sky. The whole of the spiritual sky, of which the total number of material skies is only an insignificant part, is full of unlimited number of Vaikuṇṭha planets. The destination of the devotee, the Bhagavata, is to enter into one of the Vaikuṇṭha planets, in each of which the personality of Godhead in his unlimited personal expansions enjoys himself in the association of unlimited number of pure devotee associates. The conditioned soul in the material world, after gaining emancipation by devotional service, are promoted to these planets. But the number of ever-liberated souls is far, far greater than the number of conditioned souls in the material world. And the ever-liberated soul in the Vaikuṇṭha planets never care to visit this miserable material world. The impersonalist who aspire to merge in the impersonal brahmajyoti effulgence of the Supreme Lord, but have no conception of loving devotional service to him in his personal form in the spiritual manifestation, may be compared to certain species of fish who, being born in the rivers and rivulets, migrate to the great ocean. They cannot stay in the ocean indefinitely, for their urge for sense gratification brings them back to the rivers and streams to spawn. Similarly, when the materialist becomes frustrated in his attempts to enjoy himself in the limited material world, he may seek impersonal liberation by merging either with the casual ocean or with the impersonal brahmajyoti effulgence. However, as neither the casual ocean nor the impersonal brahmajyoti effulgence offers any superior substitute for association and engagement of the senses, the impersonalist will fall again into the limited material world to become entangled once more in the wheel of births and deaths, drowned on by the inextinguishable desire for sensual engagement. But any devotee who enters the kingdom of God by transcendental engagement of his senses in devotional service, and who associates with the liberated souls and the personality of Godhead there, will never be attracted to the limited surroundings of the material world. In the Bhagavad Gita 8.15 also, the same is confirmed. As the Lord says, the great Mahatmas are the Bhakti yogis, after attaining my association, never come back to this material world, which is full of miseries and is non-permanent. The highest perfection of life, therefore, is to attain his association and nothing else. The Bhakti yogi, being completely engaged in the Lord's service, has no attraction for any other process of liberation like jnana or yoga. A pure devotee is a 100% devotee of the Lord and nothing more. We should further note in this verse the two words śāntam and ānandam, which denote the devotional service of the Lord, can really bestow upon the devotee two important benedictions, namely peace and satisfaction. The impersonalist is desirous of being one with the Supreme, or in the other word, he wants to become the Supreme. This is a myth only. The mystic yogis become encompassed by various mystic powers and so have neither peace nor satisfaction. So neither the impersonalist nor the yogi can have real peace and satisfaction by the devotee, but the devotee can become fully peaceful and satisfied because of his association with the complete whole. Therefore, merging in the absolute or attaining some mystic power has no attraction for the devotee. Attainment of love of Godhead means complete freedom from all other attractions. The conditioned soul has many aspirations, such as becoming a religious man, a rich man, or a first-class enjoyer, or become God himself, or becoming powerful like mystic and acting wonderfully by getting anything or doing anything. But all these aspirations should be rejected by the prospective devotee who actually wants to revive his dormant love of Godhead, love of God. The impure devotee aspire after all the above mentioned material things by perfection of devotion. But a pure devotee has none of this tinge of the above contaminations, which are the influence of material desires, impersonal speculations, and attainment of mystic powers. One can attain the stage of love of God by pure devotional service or by a learned labor of love for the sake of devotional lovable object, the personality of Godhead. To be more clear, if one wants to attain the stage of love of Godhead, he must give up all desires for material enjoyment. He should refrain from worshipping any of the demigods, and he should devote himself only to the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He must give up the foolish idea of becoming one with the Lord and the desire to have some wonderful powers just to get the ephemeral adoration of the world. The pure devotee is only favorably engaged in the service of the Lord without any hope of emolument. This will bring about love of Godhead or the stage of śāntam and ānandam as stated in this verse. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalake Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavad Pashasha Deshadarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. In this verse, Srila Sukadeva Goswami is talking about the pure devotee of the Lord. So he is saying, only the purified soul can attain the perfection of associating with the personality of Godhead in complete bliss and satisfaction in his constitutional state. So, not all the impure devotees, half devotees, all the other impersonalists, they can't attain the perfection. That's what he is saying. Whoever is able to renovate such devotional perfection is never again attracted by this material world and he never return. So if somebody attracted with this devotional perfection, to get the devotional perfection, they never get attracted by this material world and they won't come back to this material world again. Even the pure devotees of the Lord who are in this material world, they also never get attracted by this material world. For example, there is a great Acharya, Yamunacharya. So he is a Sri Sampradaya Acharya. He is a guru, one of the guru of Ramanujacharya, great Ramanujacharya. So the Yamunacharya, he was saying, what he is saying? Yat avadi mama cheta Krishna padaravinde nava nava rasa damani udyatam rantum asid tat avadi batanari sangame sarmyamane bhavati mukha vikaraga susta nistivanam cha. So the meaning is, he is saying, since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, Krishna, and I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor, whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it and I spit at the thought. Krishna consciousness is such a transcendental nice thing that automatically material enjoyment becomes distasteful. So this is the Yamunacharya saying that. So what he is saying that whenever he is enjoying, when you are engaging with the service of the Supreme Lord, even this material world, he is enjoying the transcendental humor of the Lord. And whenever he is thinking about the sex life with a woman, what he is saying that his face gets turned out from that, and he's spit on that thought. Whatever he thought, the thought is coming, he spit on the thought. He's feeling in that way. So that is the quality of the pure devotee of the Lord. They never attracted by any material engagement. So even in the case of, this is Yamunacharya, he was saying this way. This is in the case of Vishwamitra. He is also the great yogi. The great yogi, he was doing the tapasya for 10,000 years. But when he was doing the meditation, so what happened? When the Menaka came over there, by hearing her ankle bell, he come out from his meditation and he saw Menaka and he got attracted by her beauty. And then he lost his, whatever the 10,000 years he did the penance and meditation, he lost that tapasya. So that is the comparison between the person who is fully in the Krishna consciousness and who is in the yogic way. So there is a difference. The person who is in the Krishna consciousness, who knows that, who is doing a devotional service, they will become pure automatically and they will get the understanding that all this material attraction, everything is just a camouflaging. It is kind of wasting your time. It is a maya only. So the only perfection is serving to the Lord. That is the only perfection. So that is the way, the mindset of the devotee of the Lord. And Prabhupada here, he was mentioning the Bhagavad Gita 8.15. So in the 8.15, what Krishna is saying, Mam upetya punar janma dukkhalayam asasvatam apunavanti mahatmanaha samsitim paramam gataha. So Krishna is saying, after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So the person who attained Krishna, so that person is a great soul. That's what Krishna is saying. So they are the yogis in the devotion. So yogis who will say, we'll call the yogis means who are controlling their senses, who are doing the meditation on something, that is, they are called yogis. But the yogis in the devotion, what they never come back to this material temporary world. That's why dukkhalayam asasvatam. The temporary world is mentioning as dukkhalayam asasvatam by Krishna here. So it is full of miseries. Dukkha alayam. That's why it is called dukkha alayam. And asasvatam. Asasvatam means it's temporary. So this material world is temporary and is full of miseries. So the person who is attained the Supreme Lord, they never desire to come back to this material world because they were in the highest perfection. That's what Krishna is saying in 8.15. So that's why whenever we are doing, our endeavor should be to get into the perfection. Day by day, we need to be, our progress should be there in the perfection path. How can I perfect myself in the devotional activities? We should not be in the stagnant mode. Okay, anyway, I'm chanting, anyway, I'm doing. So how can I improve that? My chanting? How can I improve my reading? How can I improve my understanding? So that is the way we have to think always in the thing of service to the Supreme Lord. So even we are chanting as a service to the Supreme Lord. Even we are eating, that is also service to the Supreme Lord. Eating the prasadam, honoring a prasadam. It's not eating. It is honoring a prasadam. Cows and all the animals, we will call them as a eating. But devotees, since the bhoga offered to the Lord and we are taking that, then we are calling that as the honoring the prasadam. Because Lord already touched that, tasted that prasadam. So that is the reason we are taking the remnants of the Lord. So we are saying that we are honoring that. Because it is not eating, it is a honoring. So that is the way our Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means that much thought we should have always. And also, here in this sloka, there are two words. It is mentioning here, śāntam and ānandam. Śāntam and ānandam. Śāntam means it is in the peace. Ānandam means it is bliss. So the satisfaction. So satisfaction through Krishna consciousness only, the person can get a peace and satisfaction. No other material things, no other demigods, even in the case of demigods, nobody can give the peace and the satisfaction. Even Krishna is mentioning in Bhagavad Gita, There's a sloka in the 5th chapter, 29th sloka. Krishna is mentioning the peace formula. What is the peace formula? Is this very famous sloka? It is the peace formula. What is the peace formula? Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram shukrutam sarvabhutanam yatva mam santim ruchyati. What is the meaning? A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. When a person understanding and realizing with a full consciousness, Krishna is the only enjoyer. Whatever the sacrifices, whatever the austerities we are doing, he is the beneficiary. He is the beneficiary person. And from all the demigods, planets, everything belongs to him. So in that, if you have the understanding, that kind of understanding, then what will happen? Then we can be in the peace. We can attain the peace because nothing belongs to me. Everything belongs to him. My position is serve the Lord. That is my position. So if one person has that understanding, came to the understanding, what will happen? He won't attracted by this and affected by these material miseries. He won't suffer in the material miseries. We will be in peace. So that is why this is called the peace formula provided by the Lord. So Lord himself is giving the advice to be in the full consciousness of me, so that you can keep away from all those miseries and you can be in peace. And in the same sloka, Prabhupada is explaining, talking about the impersonalist. So the impersonalist, what they are doing, they are trying to merge in the Brahmajyoti, or they want to bridge in the casual ocean. So trying to merge into this without, because they are also trying to attain something, but not in the perfect way. So whatever the devotee wanted to attain the place where Lord is there personally, and he wanted to serve the Lord. So that is his that is his wish. His desire, the devotee wanted to do that. But the other impersonalist, they are also connected with the Lord, but not with the directly connected to the personal form of the Lord. Their understanding is Lord is impersonal, Lord is everywhere, and you are Lord, I am Lord. So that kind of mentality. So what they are trying to connect with the Brahmajyoti, or they are trying to connect with the casual ocean. So even though they attain that, so since our senses are more agitated, right? So even though they attain, they can't go and stay peacefully there. So for that only, Prabhupada giving the analogy that some varieties of the fishes, because anyway all the rivers are going, finally connecting with the ocean. So the fishes also from the river, in the flow, it will go and it will merge in the ocean. But some of the fishes can't sustain in the ocean. What will happen? Again, it will come back to this river and it will lay the egg and it will stay there only. So the similar way, the impersonalist who are from this material world, they wanted to merge with how the fishes are going merging with the ocean. Similar way, they wanted to go on merging with the impersonalists in the form of Lord, like the Brahmajyoti or the casual ocean. They are going, but since there is no sensual, there is no sensual gratification there, no activities there. Simply they go and stay there. So how can be this? They can't stay there because of their senses agitation. Again, they will come back. How the fishes coming back to the river? The similar way, those impersonalists also come back to this material world. Again, they will get into the path of repeated birth and death. They will attracted by this repeated birth and death, and attracted by this sensual enjoyment. Then they are catch hold of this, entangled in the repeated birth and death. So the devotee is the best out of bad bargain. There is a proverb, best out of bad bargain. Even though this Kali Yuga has so many anarthas, so many problems, so many sufferings, miseries, and hypocrisy, war, fight, everything is there in the Kali Yuga. But in that also, there is one thing is there. it is very easy by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one person can attain the perfection. So this is a very easy method. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, by reading the scriptures, by associating with the devotees, one can progress in bhakti. So this and all, we no need to spend money, we no need to spend anything. We can chant the holy name. Yes, in the other yugas, we need to do the meditation, we need to keep our body fit, and other yugas, you need to build a temple and you need to worship. Some other yugas, you need to prepare the yajna. All those activities is not needed in Kali Yuga. Simply chant the holy name of the Lord, you can attain the perfection very easily. That is a beauty of Kali Yuga. Even the demigods also wanted to come and take birth in this Kali Yuga so that they can also attain the perfection. So demigods, they are not a perfect devotee of the Lord. Even though they are also devotee of the Lord, but since they have the tinge of glory to the material enjoyment. So because of that, they attain that position so that, okay, you be there, even though they are demigods, they are the living entities, they are there. Lord provided that position to control the human beings. Okay, he has the propensity to control over somebody, to do some activity, material activity, is attracted. Because of even the demigods also in the one level upper than the human beings. Because they are not in the same platform of human being, but one level upper than us. But because they have the connectivity, they know the Lord is, they are serving the Lord. But they also having the propensity of enjoyment, the melody towards this material world. That's the reason they are put into that position. So, what is the best thing is to get the peace and the satisfaction. There is only surrender to the Supreme Lord and serving the Supreme Lord wholeheartedly. That is the only thing going to give us the peace and satisfaction. There is no other mean in this material world. Even though that's why Prabhupada is mentioning here, the conditioned soul have the many aspirations. Becoming a religious man, rich man, first-class enjoyer, becoming a God himself, or becoming a powerful like mystic yogi, and acting wonderfully by getting anything or doing anything. All the mystic powers they to get up. But all those things in this material world very limited. That is very limited. We are in the very limited material world. So in this very limited material world, we will trying to get this much only. So this is not going to give us the full peace or satisfaction to us, because to attain that kind of mystic power, they need to work hard. The entire life they have to spend. Then only they attain. They will finally they may attain all these things. Then after that, they don't have time to enjoy that also. So this is the material way of life. It cannot give any satisfaction. They can't satisfy with this even after death also, after leaving this material world also. They are going to they are trying to go and attain the impersonalist way. There also they are going to get peace and satisfaction. So the only thing with the peace and satisfaction is doing the service to the Supreme Personality of God, understanding the position that he is the enjoyer, he is the owner of everything. I am nothing. I am just a servant. My position is to serve the Lord and for his satisfaction. To satisfy the Supreme Lord is the only work for me. A person who understands that person be in the satisfaction and peace. So this is the peace formula. So let us all invite that kind of qualities, that kind of meditation to do the service to the Supreme Lord, so that we can also attain him in the perfect made. So attain the Supreme Lord is the fullest perfection. After that, we won't get attracted by this material world. So from whenever we are in the material world, here itself we need to practice ourselves to stay away all these material attractions and focus on the Supreme Lord, so that we can easily attain Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.